Hey, what's up nerds? Welcome back. I hope you're doing very well. So as the title suggests, we're going to look at the top 5 most insane melee weapons that are currently in Warframe. Do keep in mind that there's some personal preference present in here, because I find only going by numbers to be the wrong approach. So your list might look different from mine, and that's a-okay. However, all of the weapons I will name will definitely get you through the game and any content after that. Be it hour-long survivals or level capping in disruption, it doesn't matter. Before we dive in deep, hi, my name is Swag and I make random videos on Warframe. If you liked the video at the end, do leave a like and subscribe for more builds, guides and discussion videos. And as of recently, also shorts. Also consider sharing this video with your friends and fellow Tenno, it really helps out the channel. Right, without further ado, let's hop straight in. Starting off strong with number 5, the Broken War. Coming from the Stalker, you'd think this weapon is a little toy rather than a weapon to be feared, but you couldn't be more wrong. The Broken War has consistently been a fan favorite over the years, even though it has been falling off in popularity as of late. With a base crit chance of 35%, a 2.2 times critical multiplier and 20% status, it's not hard to see that with the right build, this weapon can become an absolute monster. Speaking of the right build, you will notice some consistencies, or rather similarities, throughout all melee weapons we're talking about today. Why is that? Because at the late game stage, and when going for maximum damage output, there isn't a whole lot of variety, but we'll get to that later. Stance wise, we're running Iron Phoenix. Simply said, Iron Phoenix procs slash straight away with the first hit. It's a force proc, so pretty much a guarantee. Other than that, we've got Condition Overload with its 120% melee damage multiplier per status type, Blood Rush for the added critical chance on combo multiplier, Primed Reach for more range, Weeping Wounds for a 40% status chance multiplier on combo, Organ Shatter for 90% more crit damage, Berserker for 75% added attack speed on critical hits, Smite Corrupted or Primed Smite Corrupted for a damage multiplier towards corrupted enemies. You can swap this out for Smite Grineer or Primed Smite Grineer if needed. And lastly, Spring Loaded Blade for +2 range for 24 seconds on status effect. Now this is our basic cookie cutter build. You can make adjustments here and there depending on the faction you're facing, like adding Primed Fever Strike instead of Smite Grineer if you're facing Corpus to melt through their health. You can also use Toxin mods to your advantage if you're running an armor stripping setup. Nonetheless, the Broken War hits like a truck, it's fast, reliable, fairly easy to get, and an all-around solid pick for our number 5 most insane melee weapons. Moving on to number 4, the Pangolin Sword. Yes, you've heard correctly, the Pangolin Sword. Not the Pangolin Prime, and no, this is not a joke. It's also not a penguin. With most top tier lists about melees, the only melee weapons considered are the ones that deal damage by actually using it as a weapon. However, I never see melee weapons included that work as stat sticks for pseudo-exalteds. Which is a shame really, as they play a big role in late game content for a large portion of the player base. Now, while the Jaw Sword takes the spotlight most of the time, the simple fact that the Riven disposition for the Pangolin Sword is higher and the Rivens are comparatively cheaper makes it the clear winner in my opinion. Build wise, I use a very simple stat stick build consisting of Primed Pressure Point for raw damage, Primed Fever Strike and Northwind for the Viro combo, Organ Shatter and Gladiator Might in conjunction with a Helios/Deconstructor combo for a higher critical multiplier and added critical chance due to the Gladiator conditional. Weeping Wounds, again, for more status on combo multiplier and an absolute garbage tier Riven. This build smacks enemies around like they're made out of paper when using Korra and makes for a good all-around damage build. There are some varieties you could consider, like not running Naramon and using Drift and Contact, but I don't personally see the benefit in that. This leads us to number 3 of the most insane melee weapons, the Cronen Prime. Yet again, I'm sure you're sitting at the edge of your seat screaming at me, asking what kind of a fool I am, placing the Cronen Prime at number 3? I agree. In any objective, let's call it review of weapons and damage numbers, the Cronen Prime would definitely make it as the number 1 god amongst melee weapons. However, with the immense overuse of this weapon and the stance being pretty meh in terms of feel, not damage output, not range or anything. No, they just feel weird. Sovereign Outcast is okay-ish, but it still doesn't make the weapon feel any better. It just feels off. Obviously, damage-wise, we're looking at one of, if not the strongest melee in the game. So there's nothing to complain about in terms of that. I guess you could say it's simply not for me. Knowing your monkey-infested thought processes though, you would have skinned me alive if I wouldn't have put the Cronen Prime on a top 5 list. The build is the same as build number 1 because, you know, build variety. Right, coming to the exciting ones. Number 2, the Reaper Prime. Hands down the best scythe in the game and one of my personal favorites. There's simple beauty in a heavy attack build with this monstrosity. However, it also shines when built for combo multipliers. Other than Zos, it's the most diverse melee out there right now in terms of effective builds in my opinion, and will never leave my side. Trusty Reaper Prime is a staple when it comes to dealing damage, achieving red crits without issues at all, and just watching enemies fall like flies. After all, we're looking at a base 35% crit chance, 25% status chance, and a 2.5 times crit damage multiplier on a slash heavy weapon. It's almost like the Red Cringe Lord's wet dream came true, quite literally. I'll cover the build in just a second. And finally we come to the number 1 most insane melee weapon in Warframe. The almighty Sheath. I'm just joking around. It's the Sepfon Nikanazaw, of course. The combination of a Sepfon Strike, Peye Grip and Varjijai 2 Link is built to break even the strongest of enemies. Now with Zaws we can also utilize Exodia Arcanes, making our weapon even deadlier, and putting it to good use with the Stance Blind Justice and Exodia Hunt for our Arcane slot. You see, Blind Justice has this neat little forward block combo that includes a ground slam, and Exodia Hunt has a chance to pull enemies towards you upon a ground slam. You see what I'm going for here? Other than that, Nikanas have another trick up their sleeve, namely forced slash procs on heavy attacks. That paired with Nikana lifesteal, and you'll be healing faster than enemies can wear you down. There's also the fact that a forward block into slide combo with, for example, a maxed Berserker is so fast that you effectively evade damage. This is partially due to the speed, and partially because the enemy intelligence in Warframe is similar to that of a newborn baby. Again, the builds are pretty much the same to build number 1 and a standard heavy attack build. But let's just go over that heavy attack build one more time. We have Sacrificial Pressure for raw damage, Sacrificial Steel for crit chance, Timed Reach for range, Amalgam Organ Shatter for crit damage and 60% heavy attack wind-up speed. Killing Blow adds another 60% wind-up speed to that and 120% melee damage on heavy attacks. Corrupt Charge for the initial combo, giving us 2 times combo multiplier out of the box. Berserker for attack speed on critical hits and Gladiator Might, again in combination with the Deconstructor Helios for even more crit damage and critical chance. Basically concentrating on the highest amount of base damage, crit chance and crit damage to get the maximum out of one swing of the blade. I however personally like to run my Nikanazaw with a standard slash heavy combo build. It scales incredibly well, and at later stages when you start status priming the enemy, it becomes even more deadly. So these are my top 5 most insane melee weapons in Warframe. Granted, your list might look completely different, and that's okay. You can let me know in the comment section below what your top 5 is. Make sure to like the video if you did, subscribe with notifications on to never miss out on new builds, guides, and discussion videos. That will be all. Stay safe out there, Tenno. Later.